Hello! We are back again, Shakti Cabral and myself, Boegman. We are doing Shakti Speaks from nature, and today we want to talk about, Shakti wants to talk about life after death and reincarnation.
Yes, got lots to say on this topic. So, should we go for a walk?
Yeah, we're going to do a little walk and talk, and I'm going to ask Shakti a few questions. We're on. So, reincarnation, life after death, it's a big topic. A lot of people have opinions on it, and just this morning you were telling me you watched a video where someone gave, in your opinion, quite a simplified take on what happens after we die.
Yeah. I mean, it really is all dependent on the perspective from which you view it. Okay, so as we expand our own awareness, as we do the inner work, our energy doesn't only just rise, it expands along with our awareness. Okay, and with that comes a completely different perspective, but you're aware of all the other perspectives because you've been there, right? And there's a lot to be said for reincarnation and life after death. From the work that I've been doing on myself and on others for over 33 years now, I've developed quite a broad picture of it. And what I've perceived so far is that the life that you may enter back into will be based on what you have achieved from the previous one. And it doesn't mean money, it doesn't mean fame, it is based on your frequency and on your vibration, because you will just be matched with that. Now, linked in with that is karma, which is learning, understanding, taking responsibility and taking action. It's like, how do you manage it? What do you do? Do you shift? Do you change? Are you listening to your ego and your head, or are you listening to your heart and your soul? You know, because if you listen to your heart and your soul, this is expansive. It's infinite, it's omnipresent, it goes beyond this planet. The ego is a framework of beliefs, and the brain that we have and the mind that we have is a human brain and mind, which can evolve and adapt to much greater things. Like our DNA is constantly adapting and changing and holding new information, but we can release and let go of stuff that doesn't support us anymore, that weighs us down, thus our energy rises. And throughout life, if we take this into consideration and we find all the parts of us that were traumatized, that were suffering, that were in pain, that were stuck in limiting beliefs, and we bring them back to us updated into something that supports us now into the future, we lighten up our energy and we rise. And as we rise, we can shift dimensions while we're alive on this planet. We don't even have to die, but it's like dying alive. So everything that you've identified with falls away, and you can call it an ego death, you can call it a breakthrough, you can call it a breakdown. Right? You can medicate it and stay there and get stuck, or you can shift. Now, I'm not a doctor and I'm not advising anybody on their mental health here. I'm just giving perspectives. Okay? But what if you decided that you were going to work through something, and so that you don't have to keep reliving it, you don't have to keep going through it again, so that you can process it and it just moves through your body and you can fully release it because you know what it is. You can't let something go if you don't know what it is. This is the self-inquiry. This is the taking responsibility and taking action part of life. If you can do that and you can shift your awareness, you become aware of a much broader spectrum of things, not sure if you can hear me now because it's getting a little bit windy. So maybe we'll pause.
Let's pause this for now. So we're back on, a little bit less windy.
Yeah, so to pick up where I left off, you know, if you can shift your perspective and you can broaden your horizons, how you perceive things will change. Now, as far as reincarnation goes, if you've got unfinished business here, if you've got energy that you've invested into something that actually belongs to you, when you leave your body, that belongs to you. So you need to pick it up and take responsibility for it and bring it home, because you can never fully leave something if you're still in it. I.e., you know, you're not out of the bath if you've still got your foot in it. So, you know, you're out of the bath and you've taken everything out, and then you need to dry yourself off from it. And it's the same, you know, if we're going to leave this planet, right, we're not going to just go when there's parts of us left there. There's parts of us in trauma, there's parts of us in depression, there's parts of us that are broken in a frequency that vibrates lower than the one that we've entered into. So we have to go back and get it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you've done something wrong, right? Karma. I've done something wrong and I must have been a really bad person or whatever. It just means there's parts of yourself that you've forgotten about. You need to clear up after yourself. We all need to clear up after ourselves rather than leave a mess behind us. We need to, you know, make sure that we leave here whole. And this is the wholeness, the oneness that people talk about. So once you've cleared yourself up and there's nothing left here for you to learn, you go on to the next course, you go on to the next level, you go into the next class, the next dimension, somewhere else in the universe, in the cosmos. There's no way that we're the only life forms in this infinite cosmos. So that's what happens with reincarnation. You'll keep incarnating until you've picked up all of the things that you needed to pick up, like, and own as part of yourself and transform them. And also, if you've come here on a mission and you've got a job to do, you need to finish the job. So whatever that purpose is, it's important that you'll fulfill that. And it's all about doing the things that you're best at, that you love, you know, and finding a way that supports life. Okay, so that's a little take on reincarnation and why we reincarnate. We get stuck in beliefs and patterns and thoughts that we've done something wrong, maybe, or that we've just not been very nice and we've left a mess behind us. So bear that in mind and in your heart. And you can bring your mind into your heart, you can bring your head into your heart and operate from a place of love. It's not one or the other, you work with both.
So I've heard you say before that you sometimes have had the experience of checking in with how far you are along your path, or, you know, have you done what you've come here to do? Is that something that you teach other people to do as well, or do you facilitate people getting closer to the point of letting all these things go that you were talking about that are not necessary? How does it combine with your work?
Well, it's not something that I've taught people to do, actually. It's just something that I have done because it's just come up. Like when I've been in meditative states, it's just something that's happened naturally inside of me as far as checking in goes. Because it's not a race to get out of here. I've done it twice in my life. So no, it's not something that I teach, or have thought of teaching. Maybe one day I might.
So the second part about potentially helping people to collect these parts of themselves that you were referring to, how does that combine with your sessions with people? Is that something that you work on as well, or that you can, if you feel, let's say if you're listening to this and you feel that you haven't really gotten access to the potential that you know is in you, or you feel like there's parts of you that you haven't really been able to reconcile, what could people do to start that process or to make that process easier?
Set their intentions to get to the cause of where that happened, how it happened, like how did this happen? Show me what I need to see in order to resolve this, to transform this, is a question that I would ask my heart, my soul, source energy, whatever it is that you connect with, the elements, nature, your ancestors, your higher self, your future self. I would ask these questions at the highest and greatest vibrations of organic, love-based, living like divinity, always, remember.
Always.
To get to the cause and transform it into something that supports. It's like updating your computer. You update yourself. So, and it's like soul retrieval, it's transformation. This is how I work. This is how I've done it for myself as well. And I've tried and tested it, not because I wanted to run courses and stand here in front of you all and talk about it now, but because I needed it. And I did it over years and it changed my life. And now I'm living a life that I want to live, that I love and I enjoy, and here comes the wind.
Oh, the wind is saying.
Pause.
Okay, unpause now. Shakti wants to tell us a bit about life after death and maybe also linking in a personal example.
Yeah. So where you go to is where you're vibrationally matched to. Like, it's where your frequency is at when you die, what you've achieved when you're alive on this planet, and what you've done. If everybody has a purpose here, and a lot of people are trying to find out what that is. But as I mentioned, it's about doing what you love, doing what you're best at. It's what comes most naturally to you. You can't not do it. Even if you don't know what that is, you still express it because it's what you are. Fish swim, birds fly. Yeah. So when we pass over, it's like we drop the body, but we're still conscious. Consciousness, you can't kill consciousness. It's in everything. It's everywhere. And you go to a place that you are matched to. Like, so for example, people might talk about Judgment Day. It's not so much judgment as a match of frequency. It's like, think of it like the old-fashioned telephone operators that you'd call up and you say, I want to speak to so-and-so, and they'd unplug you from one place and plug you into the next place. It's kind of what happens, right? And for example, with my mother, like when she passed away, I tuned into her the next day, and the way that her frequency took form so that my brain could understand it and I could decode it, was she appeared as this little 4-year-old girl wearing this pink satin dress with a huge bow behind her, and I was chatting with her and she was beautiful. And then I tuned in the next day and she was 30 years of age, but she was beautiful. And what she said to me, I hope you can hear now, it's a little bit windy here. And what she said to me was that she didn't have a body to grow into, so the form that she naturally took, she could grow into very quickly. From the other side, death is perceived as birth. And now she's in a space where, my mother was she was a really good pianist when she was alive here. She's gone into a place that she adores, like sound, where sound takes form, and she learns about frequency, and that's where she is now. That's her idea of heaven, right? And we all have our own idea of what that is and what feels really beautiful and wholesome to us, and this is where we go. But if we've got unfinished business here, we'll come back and collect it and pick it up. Once we've cleared all of that up, then of course we don't need to come back again. If it's our energy that's stuck here, we're going to come back and collect it, right? Because we'll want to, because it belongs to us and we'll always feel it. But after that is cleared up, we're free to go wherever we want, wherever we choose.
So if you say that your mom was in this place, do you feel that she had done what she was here to do, and that's why she went to the place that she really resonated with sound, or can you not know that for sure?
I feel that she'd done as much as she could in this lifetime, It's not for me to say whether she'd completed her cycle here, because that's her path and her journey. But she did, you know, as far as having a rest and a break from life here on Earth, she definitely is getting that. So often we go to a place that is very restorative for us, that nourishes and nurtures us, so that we can come back to, you know, with fresh energy to continue where we might have left off. Or otherwise, it's that we don't, you know, we go to a place that refreshes us and prepares us for the next leg of our journey. And some of us, like I know with myself, I literally island hopped. So I went from one life and I came straight into the next, and then straight into the next, because there was a job that I wanted to get done, that I needed to get done before a certain amount of time had lapsed, which is all to do about what is going on in the planet at the moment, about raising people's vibrations, about helping people to source and to light and higher vibrations of freedom, empowerment, and kind of responsibility, so that they've cleared themselves up and they can go where they need to go whole.
See, that's beautiful. Is there anything else you want to say about this topic?
There will be, but right now, until the next chunk of information comes, that's it for me now.
Wonderful. Thank you for this Shakti Speaks Nature edition. And if you've watched this, if you're listening, if you have questions, please comment them, message Shakti. Her information is always linked at the bottom. Her website is linked, her Instagram is linked. So yes, we want to engage with you. We want to know what's interesting. We want to know where there are questions. We want to know which topics you'd like more depth on. And yeah, just to be able to provide as much value to people as possible, because I know that Shakti's heart is really beating for raising the awareness of as many people as possible. So help us to do that by asking or giving us feedback.
Yeah, and as a footnote, just so you know, I'm always running retreats and courses on awakening, on how to raise your energy, you know, when we rise up, and, you know, how to alchemize all of that, and how to transform your life. So, you know, I can physically help you emotionally, energetically, soulfully, with those areas, because yeah, my purpose here very much is to empower you.
Thank you so much, Shakti, and thank you everyone listening. Ciao.
Bye.